activity for Selling Principles online class. First, we're going to talk about the purpose of the project. The main purpose of the project is to develop a proposal based on a customer's request and present the product to the client. This assignment is replicated from an assignment that is done in the traditional face-to-face classroom setting and meets the concerns identified by our advisory committee. And we meet with an advisory committee twice a year, and what our advisory committee, the purpose of our advisory committee is for business people to identify to us which skill sets are needed in the marketplace. And one skill set that is always communicated to us is the idea of interpersonal communication and being able to communicate with clients effectively. Also, as the purpose of a sales class is to prepare you to work in a business in a customer service and or sales position, either internal or externally, it's essential for us to provide you with a hands-on environment for you to do a sales presentation, regardless of the format the class is being taught in. The requirements of the assignment are to create, the first part is to create a feature and benefit worksheet for the Park Inn. A minimum of 10 features must be identified. This can also, the items that we're going over can also be found online in the Assignments tab, which will give you this document here. We're talking about what requirements the customer has. This letter here is identifying who your customer is and what the size requirements are for their specific meeting. We talk about the Park Inn. In Appendix 3 of your text, there's all the information that you need on the Park Inn, and this is where you will be able to determine what you think your 10 features are. The example that is on the document talks about the features and benefits chart, and I laid it out exactly what I'm going to be looking for. This is an example of one feature. One feature may be free parking. The feature is always something that the product or service will do. And so free parking is the feature. A benefit is what is the customer actually getting from the feature. And that whole question of what's in it for me, what's in it for the customer. And so the benefit for free parking saves money to your guests, since other convention centers may charge more than $10 for parking. That information is also included in the Park Inn piece. Now, once you identify your feature and benefit, we need to work on how do you communicate the feature and benefit to your customer. And so we make that communication piece, that's what we call the bridge statement. And it could be as simple as restating your feature, inserting the words which means and the benefit. It's important that you identify that in your sales presentation, that you make that communication to the customer in the sales presentation, that you're identifying that piece. A lot of people miss that component. And so for this, I wrote the bridge statement as, at the Park Inn we provide free parking for our guests, which means you will save over $2,000 in your meeting based on what our competitors charge. Now, that, as we notice, I even threw that dollar amount in based on how many people they're expecting. Customers, if you can put a value on that feature, it means more to them. Now, free parking, you might say, oh, it's free parking. My bridge statement gave them a $2,000 value on that free parking. And so I took at 200 people at $10 a piece, $2,000. Now I've given you a dollar amount of what that free parking means to you. A lot of times people say, well, you have free parking. Well, free parking may not mean anything to me unless you put an actual dollar amount on that item. Next, you're going to be developing a formalized sales presentation to present to your client. The book does provide you with information on both the formalized sales presentation and what you would potentially use as a site seller or a sales portfolio for your presentation. If you look at the website for the textbook, you will find that on the site pearsonhighered.com/Manning, you'll find the book here. We're using the Selling Today 12th edition. Under the tab where it says Park Inn Sales Presentation Materials, Appendix 3, this is where you're going to find the information for the sales presentation. Now, once you click on that, you'll find a couple different points here. Print materials, interactive sales proposal, interactive stationery, and sample convention center PowerPoint presentation. First thing I want to look at is the interactive sales proposal, because it directly reflects one of the objectives for the assignment. Now what you do here is here you can actually fill out the proposal. And so you enter the customer's name, hopefully. Title, organization name, date of meetings, enter that information. Nice thing here, under meal functions, you can put a description of world famous chicken Wellington. And I think the price was $17.95. Oops. Maybe I should put quantity right. All right, quantity 200. Let's say it's $17.95 a plate. Once you create the proposal, you'll see that it automatically calculates this cost for you. Now, the one thing is the sales tax may not be correct, and so you want to double check. Sales taxes are different every place that you go, and you are dealing with someone who is from a technical college, and colleges are tax exempt. So for your presentations, you actually will not have a sales tax. Now, the interesting thing there is you can show that to place how much money that they may be saving by going with your business and what kind of value they receive. The fact that they're tax exempt saved them $143.60. And so it lets you enter information for the meal functions, specific information for the meeting and banquet rooms, and information for the guest rooms. Will automatically calculate that information for you. And so that's the interactive sales proposal. The other place in the Park Inn Sales Presentation Materials, you have the print materials. And basically what the print material piece is are PDFs of Appendix 3 in your text. And this is where you get all the information for both your presentation, pricing information, and information for your sales portfolio. They have a sample PowerPoint that you can download that you could potentially use for your presentation. When you look at the idea of a site seller and what is a site seller or a sales portfolio is the information you're going to be providing your client for the presentation. You will find a separate section PowerPoint video that we're going to be showing you in regards to how to do your sales presentation, and in that presentation we'll talk about specifics about using a site seller, but it's the visual aid that you will use during your presentation. If you're presenting to me face to face, it is what you will be handing me throughout your presentation, and there's some do's and don'ts on that, and we'll talk about that in that other session. The next requirement is that you're going to be sending an email to the instructor, me, identifying that you've received your original request, the information in the Blackboard document, and that you're requesting a sales meeting. Provide the instructor with 3 different times to set up an appointment with you. Also indicate if the sales meeting will happen face-to-face or through Skype. And so if you're familiar with using technology or you can't make it into Gateway Technical College, the Kenosha campus, then we will be doing those presentations through Skype. And then finally, presenting your presentation to the instructor, as we said, either face-to-face or via Skype. The benefit or advantage to Skype is that you can still transmit files back and forth. We will do another quick video segment on how to sign up for Skype, and that will be posted in the Blackboard session.